Telling you, increasing your productivity with G Suite, presented by me, Joy Blake. Who am I? Well, first and foremost, I'm a mathematics curriculum designer for Chicago Public Schools. I've been a math and science teacher since 2005. And here's all my ed tech certifications. I'm a Google certified trainer, Pear Deck certified coach, Screencastify certified coach, and I also have my own edtech consulting business called Blake Basics. Check out my website to find out more about me. And you can always follow me on Twitter at Blake Basics. Now, let's get into our learner objectives. Today, learners will be able to learn techniques to simplify and organize their lives while using G Suite products. Learners also will learn techniques on how to use Google Keep, Google Tasks, Google Calendar, Google Forms, and Gmail to increase productivity. How exciting! Let's get started. So, before I get started, I always like to tell my audience what they're going to see, how they can use it, and why I know it works. So, in this presentation, primarily you're going to see me doing demos, showing you where things are, and showing you how things work. How you can use it is you'll have access to this presentation and recording, so watch it as many times as you need to. And then secondly, why I know it works is because everything I'm going to show you today, I use regularly, and I repeat regularly in my daily practice and in my work, and it has saved me a boatload of time. So I'm going to show it to you. Now, here's the order of what we're going to learn today. First, we're going to learn about Google Keep, which is a note-taking app that helps to save important things. I can't live without Keep, and I have to keep it in my life. Get it? Secondly, we're going to learn about Google Tasks. Use this free to-do list. It's basically a free to-do list that keeps up with all your important things, and it's found in so many places within Google products. Next, let's learn about Gmail. We all have to organize our email addresses and our inboxes. Let's learn some ways to do that. And last but not least, this is a section where you learn about Google Forms and much more, as well as your calendar and Google Drive. So let's get started with Google Keep. This is a note-taking app that saves information. Think of Google Keep as it's basically like a digital Post-it that you can use within any Google product. So Google Keep, before I forget, Google Keep, you can also download the Google Keep app on your phone, and you can connect it to different email addresses. So you can have a Google Keep account for your personal email, a Google Keep account for your work email, etc. And you can just keep up with different things. And that way on your phone, on your computer. But the point is, Keep goes everywhere you go, which also makes it easier. So here's some things you can do with why use Google Keep, and here's some things you can do. It's they're digital Post-it notes, but they're a little more advanced than that because you can add videos, you can add images to them, you can draw on them in real time, you can add links, and you can add a collaborator. So for instance, me and my husband, if we're going grocery shopping, we can both be on the same Google Keep, add our grocery items to the list, and see it on our phone as we're in the grocery store. So you can share it with people that you work with. And it's a great way to keep up with things in real time. Also, something that's important within Google products is they do have the side smart bar, and Google Keep is a part of that. So let's get into this demo. So if I'm in like any Google product, that's Google Slides, Docs, Sheets, Gmail, making a website, there's always this toolbar here, which kind of keeps up with the main productivity tools. So if you look here, here's Google Keep. And so if you're working on a slide deck and there's something you want to remember, you can literally just click on this and make a quick Post-it note or a quick note and the item that you're on. So if you're in a Google Doc or a Google Slide or a sheet, it'll automatically attach, even if you're also on a Gmail. So if you're like trying to help yourself remember something from this Google slide deck, it'll automatically attach. If you don't want it there, you can just exit out here and put your title. Okay, so we'll put grocery list. And then you can start writing your list. Okay, apples, I'm just making this up, oranges, etc. But one key component is that, so right now I'm going to click done, and you have this 3-dot menu here. On the toolbar here, this is an abbreviated version of Keep. I'm going to take you to the full version, but you can actually literally add the information from this Google Keep. If I wanted to, I could add it to the slide deck, and now it would be there as well, or a Google Doc. I also can archive it, or just delete it. That's one thing that you can do from the toolbar, but also you can pin it. So if you choose to pin the Google Keep, it'll appear at the top of your list. As you can see, I have tons of Google Keeps. And if I wanted this one to appear first, I would pin it. And so no matter what, as I add more notes, this one will always appear first. And then I can unpin those. So now let's go into the actual, let's make it in real time and make it fuller so you can see all that Google Keep is capable of. So within my Google Keep, here it is. In real time, I can rearrange my notes, so that's where the pinning comes in. But if I put this all the way down here and then I put pin, see how it just moved to the top? That's what I mean by pinning Keep Note. You can remind yourself about this one. So if I want to go grocery shopping, I can remind myself to do this later tomorrow. I don't know why I will go at 8 p.m., but this is a demo. You also can add a collaborator. So here, if I wanted to add my husband, I could do so. There he is. Don't email him, but that's also something that you're able to do. And you can add as many collaborators as you want. Also, for those artistic people who love aesthetically appealing things, you can pick different backgrounds for your Keep Note, different colors, things of that nature. And you can create like a default color. Like if you want every single Keep Note about groceries to be this color, you can click on this, and every time, that'll be the default color. So that's up to you. I personally don't want that, so I'm going to take that out. But if that's something that you want, that's also another option. You also can insert images. So if you have an image of any sort that you want to add in, you can just click open here, and there it is. There's the image. It's in the Keep Note. It's ready to go. And archiving it won't delete the Keep Note, but it'll put it over here in your archive section so that it's not, so your Keep Notes aren't as like cluttered. So that's where the archiving will come in. Another thing that I really like is you can add a label. Just like in Gmail, you can organize your Keep Notes by categories. So if you had like grocery lists, kids camp, YouTube posts, whatever, you can do that, and you can organize them by a label. If you click on add drawing, this is where you can actually draw on the Keep Note. So and you can do this on your phone as well. So you can decide the thickness, decide the color. You can decide how you want it to look as a highlighter. Oops. Okay. And you can decide, what tools you want to use. One of my favorite things, and what I would recommend using with students, is you can also use, like, put a grid, you can use dots, you can use rules, and then you could have nothing. So it's really interactive, and there's a lot that you can add to it from drawing. And also, like, if you have a picture or something that you've used from drawing, you can also just add it to a Keep Note. Like, for instance, if I go back to my presentation here and you see this Bitmoji I created, I have this Bitmoji in a Keep Note somewhere so that I can always like find it quickly, and I don't have to like go searching through my files. Like if I wanted to add this in, I would be able to put go to my images and just add that in. So you see my drawings here, my images here, my list is here. And one cool thing about lists is that you can also show checkboxes. So especially you could change it so that, and you can also rearrange your checkboxes. So if I want oranges, I could check and then it'll cross out, or then I can uncheck it and it'll reappear. It's really it's a small little tool, but it's very, very versatile. You can grab the text from an image as well. So here's my Neotech thing, but as you can see, it pulled the text from the picture. So you're able to do that. So there's just a lot. And of course, you could just delete the note. So basically, this is Keep Note. Now, I want to show you how how it would work if you were in like, I mean, pretty much this shows everything that you would need to know. The only little component that I want to build upon is that, yeah, I think that's actually, it's really nothing more I want to build. Oh, I remember, is that if you are a social media person and you really like social media, but your thumbs get tired and you get worn out from typing all the little stuff in your social media, I highly recommend using Google Keep, because what you can do, what I do, is I type up everything for my posts on social media. I put all the hashtags, and then I'll go into my phone and have the keep note, and then I'll just like copy and paste the post instead of trying to do it in real time when my thumbs are tired and it's just too much. So that's just like a little bonus that I like to share with you. So let's move forward. So we learned about Google Keep. Let's move on to the next thing on our toolbar, which would be our tasks. So Google Tasks, I probably use Google Keep the most, but Task would be a close second. So for my Google Tasks, it's just a to-do list that helps you keep up with important things. But the things that you need to get done, you can also attach to the task, and you can put reminders on there. So what Google Tasks does is you can add a date, you can make the task repeat. Like, let's say you always have to submit a report every Friday at 10 a.m. You can add that date, and that task can continue to repeat. You can also add tasks to your calendar, and then your calendar will show the tasks that you need to get done. And then you can create different lists for different reasons. So you may have like a work list, maybe like your professional, your entrepreneurship or business or list or something like that. And maybe you're going back to school, you have a list for that. The point is, you can have different lists. So let's get into a demo of that. So for our keep, the keep note is going to show up here as a checkbox. It will appear in other Google Suite products, like Task shows up now in Google Docs. It shows up in Gmail as well, and it'll always be this like circle with the check, unless they like change the icon. But when you click on Task within your toolbar here, as you can see, it has the task. You can cross them out as you're done with them. You can also decide, like, you can add a subtask. So maybe I want to present at this conference. I could say submit proposal, and that task will go under the original task. Another thing that you can do, so see how it's underneath. So if I cross this one out, this technically is still here. You also can star them. So if you star a task, all the star tasks will be organized together. So if I star these together and I click on my list, now I can go to starred, and then those two star tasks are like separated and together. So that's an example of that. With a task, you can, so let's say I want to submit report. I can go here, put in any details about what I need to do, and then I can pick the date. So if I need to do it by March 10th, and I can put the time I want to do it, and if I want to, I can make it repeat, and also put like when it ends, how many times it repeats, etc. And this task will continue to repeat for me. And then if let's say it doesn't repeat, but it's something I still need to do, I can just click this X here and it'll stop repeating, but I won't lose the task. So that's one component of it. And you can click on the three dot to delete, or if you just want to, if you want to delete something, you literally can just click this box and it's going to cross out and automatically delete for you. So that's tasks. Now, as you can see here, I have two lists. So when I was talking about start is automatically there, but if I wanted to create a new list, and maybe I want a list that's only about stuff dealing with my kids, I can create that, and it's going to be separate between the other two lists. So that can help me to stay organized. So that's what I mean when you're creating a new list. So if I go here, you can sort your list. So if I go to my original list, I can sort my list by the date. So let's say I want them to be like from the date I put it in, and it always tells you like how old the task is. So it kind of makes you feel a little guilty in the same hand, but it at least helps you to remember how long this task has been sitting here. So you can remember, you can sort them in different ways. You can rename the list, delete the list, and you can even print your list if you're somebody that likes to literally cross things out. You can decide that it can delete all completed tasks, and when you click on this, it'll just automatically do it for you. I don't want to click that. But then you can also put in your keyboard shortcuts. I really don't use these two, but that's pretty much tasks within the toolbar. You can also download the task app on your phone if that's something you want to do. But if I move into, let's say I'm going to go to, let's start with a new Google Doc. So if I go to docs.new here and I'm in a new Google Doc, I also can use Google Tasks within a Google Doc. As you know, Google Docs now have smart chips. And if you didn't know that, that's a new feature where if you use the @ sign, you can put people in, you can put dates in, you can use a drop down. To me, this is a productivity tool as well if you're within a Google Doc. But I'm not going to get into that too much, but it does put the @ sign up. It's almost like a mini search. It'll find files, it'll find calendar invites, but also you can add like a task to something. So if I'm typing, let me see, and if I'm putting this, like now on certain versions of Google Docs, you'll see a little task icon appear here. It doesn't, now that's only in the upgraded paid version of Google, the Google like products. So if you have like right now what I'm on just like the free version of Google, but if I switch, let's see, I don't know if it'll work, but if I switch to my work computer, my work Google Docs, which I'm going to do now, just ignore I have to put in the questions. Okay, so if I switch to another account, if I'm in my work computer here, let's see. Oh, it's going downhill. Okay, and I'm in a new, let me switch to my work. Here it's loading. Let's see what happens. Oh no. Okay, I'm probably not going to be able to demo that for you at this time, just because of what's happening. But if you do have, by chance, if you do have the paid version or upgrades, whenever you type, a little icon will appear, a little like task icon will appear, and you can add that to your task. But that's on the paid version. If I'm in my Gmail, you can always, any Gmail that you see, you can add those to a task. So if it's like an email that you need to get finished with here and you click on it, if you notice, there's the task icon. So if you are like, I need to get back to this later, you can click on this and it'll add to your task list for you. And it'll include the email for you too. And then you can add in the details and the date. So tasks are like super helpful. The other place where they can be found is within your calendar. So if you have your calendar here, I'm going to open this up fully for you to see. But within your Google Calendar, you have all different types of calendars. Most people do. But if you click on my calendars here, you'll see that there's a task calendar. So if it's unchecked, nothing will appear. If it is checked, any task that you have that you need to complete will appear on your calendar. My tasks are pretty old. Let's try. I'll put a new task in and then it'll come up. Let's say submit today. So I'm going to put a new one in. I'm going to have the due date be today. I'm going to click OK. And then if I go to my actual calendar, there it is. So there's the task on my calendar. If you have a lot of tasks, you might want to be careful about that because it will cloud your whole calendar up. So my recommendation is, use at your own discretion. But if you click on your task calendar, it will appear for you and it can help you like keep up with everything going on. So you'll see it on your calendar. You can see it on any Google product. So it's a great way just to stay organized. So that's Google Tasks. Let's move on to Gmail. Now, we all know that Yeah, I know I can't be the only one that has a boatload of emails in their life that they want to get rid of. I've had over 600 before, and I'm just going to show you some tips to help you organize your Gmail, increase your productivity, and get things done. So first and foremost, this is what was going. This is going to be. It's a revolution. We're going to change things. So before you may have had thousands of unread emails. Now we're going to add in labels, filters, and snooze those emails. Next, you may have typed the same email over and over and over again. Instead, let's use templates. It saves time. And last but not least, you might have waited to send emails or continually copied and pasted stuff. Instead, let's just schedule send those emails. So first, let's go over to Gmail. You see I have 94 emails. Yikes. But that's not that bad actually. So the first thing you know that you can add in labels. Labels are here. They're basically like categories. And keep in mind, any email that you have, you can save it to multiple labels. I think some people think, oh, it can only be in one. But if I wanted to put it in opportunities and Google certified, I can do that, and will appear in both. So if I go to the opportunities label, it's there, and then if I go to Google certified, it would also appear in those labels or categories. So that's one thing about labels. So let's just start there. Labels are categories that help you sort and organize your email. Also, if you have an email open up, I highly recommend if it's spam, just report it as spam right away. So then it can stop cluttering your email, or you also can archive it right away. Something that I found helpful is to use snooze. So if you choose to snooze the email, like let's say you need to get to it later in the week, you can pick when you can get to that email. It'll move out of your inbox. You'll be able to get to it. But when you click on snooze here, it will appear right there. So any snooze emails appear within your inbox. If you also, let's go back to that email. And if you want to move it out of snooze, you can just open it up and unsnooze it, and it'll go back to how it was. Also, something that I found, especially when I'm on my phone, I might read an email on my phone, but it's really important, and I don't want it, as you can see how they go bold when they're unread. But if it's something like for this email, maybe I want to get back to it, I like to click mark as unread so that I know it stays bold and I can get back to it later. Another component here is you can also mark it as unread or mark as important or add a star. So the star component is found here. Also, you can start any email by clicking this or mark it as important by clicking this. The reason why this is important, and it might save you time, is if you click on starred, it's already sorted and it'll be found here. So it can help you like keep up with stuff quicker and find those emails you may have lost. So that's why starred is there. And if it's not important or it shouldn't be starred, just click the star and it'll be removed from that category. So just briefly, we've already gone through some key components to save you time. So the first one is star important emails or mark them as important. When you have an email open, report them as spam if that's what they are. And then if you want to remind yourself to read it again, mark it as unread. Click on the snooze to get to it later, or just add it to your task. And most importantly, organize yourself by using these labels. It does help and it does save time. Just over here, one thing I want to remind you of with the labels, you can click this plus sign and you can add a new label, but you can also like nest a label within itself. So if I have presentations here, and then I want that to go under conference information, you could put like a label under a label, and then it will help you to further organize those labels. And if you're someone who like really likes color, you can organize your labels by color as well. If that helps you feel better, I say to do it. Why not? It can't hurt. So that's just a side thing. So if I wanted this one to be a certain color, like purple, I can do that, and then that label will have color. Let's get into the filters. So you remember, Google is Google. So everything is made for you to search. It's important for you to search things within your Gmail. Don't waste time trying to find it. If you remember who sent it, if you remember if it had an attachment, if you remember that it was sent in the last 7 days, or if it was sent from you, save yourself time. Just search. Even if you have 600 emails, it's okay. Just search. Also, if you're trying to get rid of some emails, I always recommend clicking this box because it selects a lot at once. And then also you can select like all of them, none of them, the ones you read, the ones you haven't read, the ones starred, unstarred. So you can delete in bulk just by using that. So that's just something to remember to save on time. But let's get back to the filters. So make sure you use the search. But filters are found here by clicking on the search options. So this extends your search, especially if you're looking for something. But let's say you want something to be filtered. So if I want stuff that I randomly send to myself, to my own email, I can create a filter by going here. If I click on create filter, I can make this automatically archive, save time. I can mark it as read, but it's probably, I would want to mark it as read because I have sent it from my personal to my like business email. Just mark it as read. You can have it automatically be starred. You can also automatically choose the label for it. You can mark it as important or not important. You can choose certain templates that you want it to be matched with. We'll get into templates. And the best of all is you can automatically have an email. Maybe you get that random subscription email that just keeps coming, even though you unsubscribe from it. Just put the email in there and have it automatically delete. So these filters will help you like sort out and put certain emails in certain places. So let's get to our last part about Gmail, which is creating templates. So if you want templates, first let me show you what a template is. So a template is basically a pre-drafted email that you don't have to keep copy and pasting the same email. You could just put a template. So like here, for instance, is a template. Thank you for coming. You are awesome. As you can see, I just quickly went to the 3-dot menu, clicked on templates, was able to click it. It appeared. It's going to double appear if you put it. And then I was able to, I'm just able to literally just put who I want to send it to and it goes there. So again, I go to compose, 3-dot menu, templates, and then you can put miss you today. And then I can literally just put myself here. And now, literally, I just save time. If I want to add in my email signature, I would just click this, and now my email signature is there. And all I have to do is click send, and that appeared to me with like 3 clicks. Saves time. I didn't have to type. Now, if you go to your compose and the 3-dot menu and you don't see the templates, then you need to turn them on in your settings. So you'll just go to settings here. Let me close this out so you can see. You're going to go to settings, see all settings, and you'll need to go to advanced settings. So once you click advanced, you're going to want to go to templates here and enable the template, and then you'll click save changes. Once you do that, then when you compose a new email, you'll see that template option there. So if you're making a new email from scratch, you can say, welcome. Thanks for coming. And I'm glad you're here. Okay. And maybe I need to send this to like 800 people, which I don't. But this is just a template that I want to use over and over again. So I'm going to go to my 3-dot, click on templates, and then I can save this draft as a template. Once I do that, I can save it as a new template and just give it a title. And whatever that title is I put, that's going to be the subject for the email sent. So if I click compose and I go to my 3-dot menu here and I go to templates and I click on welcome, bow, there it is. And again, if I want to put in my signature, there it is. I click on the pen. If I don't want my signature, just click no signature, and that saves me time. And don't forget about schedule send. So if I put this to myself, most importantly, if you're someone who is either an early riser like me, or you're somebody who is up into the night like me, and you don't want people to be like, oh, wow, she sent me that email at 4:06 a.m. If you don't want people to know that, just use schedule send. You can find that by clicking on this arrow here, click on schedule send, and you can do it for tomorrow, the afternoon, Monday, and you can even pick a date. So you can schedule like 20 emails like months in advance. I love it. This is like one of my favorite features. And if you also have a Google Pixel phone, guess what? You can use schedule send on your text messages. Did you know that? I love that. Just wanted to share that. Okay, anyway, so that's how schedule send works. So we covered everything. Hopefully you feel a little more organized, learning all these little tips about your Gmail. But most importantly, just take it one step at a time. Find what works for you. The only other tip I would give about Gmail and getting organized and removing some of these emails is consider your setup for your actual like inbox. For me, I have mine set up as anything unread shows up first, and everything else basically, or everything that I've opened will show up underneath. If you don't have it set up, then you'll have a mix of like read emails and unread emails all together, and that can be a little bit overwhelming. So if you ever want to change the setup, just make sure to come over here to the inbox type, and you can make important emails show up first, ones that you mark like this, starred to show up first. You can make certain inboxes, you can make multiple inboxes. This is helpful, and it might make you feel a little bit more in control. So consider your email settings as well. All right, so that's it. Let's move on to Google Forms and more. This is my little hidden toolbox area. So for Google Drive, I used to hate Google Drive. I mean, it was like overwhelming to me. I didn't understand how it worked fully, but now I feel like I have a really good grasp and I actually really like it a lot. So in your Google Drive, always remember that any emails, like whenever you share something with someone, you're gonna get an email about that. If you don't want to get emails about that, just delete those emails, and you can also go in your Google Drive and set it up so that you don't get notified when somebody sends you or shares something with you. So that's in your settings. Like if you don't want to get those notifications and you don't want your email cluttered up with like Joy Blake has shared whatever random document, just like go to your email, and you can make those notifications stop under notifications here. You can, unfortunately I have it checked, but you can uncheck that and you won't get those emails anymore. Also something to keep in mind is the format of your drive. For me, I have mine set up like a list. Like you can have it set up like a list, and then it looks a little more clean, or you can set it up as like a grid, or like the images show up. That might help you feel a little bit better. Also, this random suggested area here, this is just something that the Google algorithm like makes appear. Don't pay too much attention to that, really. To me, you can pay attention to it, but for me, I like to just, when I'm looking for something, is to go by recent, because I typically can't remember when I last opened something. But then also use the search. It's going to save you time. If you remember who sent it to you, if someone sent it to you, don't waste time. Go to share it with me and then search for something, because if someone sent it to you, it's automatically going to go to share it with me. If it's something you created yourself, it's going to be in my drive. Something else to keep in mind, like here's my presentation today. If I want to, I can click on this eye right here, and I can quickly see like all the details of this particular selection. Unfortunately, it's not a lot of details, but you can also see like the activity, like when was it last open? It's pretty much open by me over and over, but you can see like when was somebody in it. If you have a work thing, you can actually see like who's it shared with, how large of a size is it. You can just get quick information about it. Also, if you have like a document here, whenever you click on the document, this little toolbar appears, which is like a quick shortcut. So you can quickly get the link, you can quickly share it with someone, you can get like a little quick preview of it by clicking on the eye. And then you can just quickly delete it. But also in this three dot, this is where you can add in your shortcuts, make a copy, etc. I like using this because, as you can see, it gives me like a snapshot, like who has access. Okay, only me. It gives me my file details, and I can add a description if I want to. And don't forget, if you randomly do want to delete things in bulk, you're just going to use your mouse and click on the side, and then you'll be able, oops, let me go up. you'll be able to like right click over. I'm having a little technical difficulty. Maybe I'll try it this way. I really don't want to delete things, but you can right click on the side and highlight everything, and then you'll be able to like mass delete things in bulk just by using your mouse. So that also might save you some time. So those are little things within Google Drive that I wanted to share that might increase somebody's productivity. Also within Google Drive, before I forget, if you're like to be really organized or like color again, don't forget you can right click any folder and you can change the color. And you can put, if I want this to be pink, I can make it pink. And also remember, whenever you have any folder open, so if I have, let's say I have this folder randomly open, any new files that I add automatically go to the folder. So I don't know if that helps somebody or not, but it might help you like staying organized with what's what and where it is. Also, if you have any Google product open and you want it to go somewhere, you can always click on this icon here and you can move it into where you want it to be in your drive, which might save you time. Like if I have a Google Doc open here and I go to the little, it might not show up because it's like so new, but as you can see, there it is. I can either move it where I want it to go within my Google Drive right there, and then sorry because I don't have a title, and then also I could start it so that it's automatically in that category as well, so it's quicker for me to find. So that's something else about Google Drive. Let's move on to our Google Forms. So for Google Forms, primarily the new features that I like to share about it that could save you time is always remember to import questions. If you have other Google Forms that you've made in the past, don't waste time like retyping name, email, any like repetitive information like that. Just import the question from another form. Forms autosave now, and then you can automatically make the default point values in the settings, so you don't have to keep doing that. And also for forms, you can have a pre-filled in link. What that means is you can create a form that has some sections already filled out ahead of time for you, and then that would be the link that you would share like with your participants. So if I go to forms, and remember I could just go to forms.new, that's a shortcut as well. You can always do forms.new, sheets.new, slides.new. It automatically will go to a new Google product. Sites.new, it'll do that. So the import question is found right here. So see, now it's going to open up every Google form I ever had. And if I click on this, I can click select. And now I can automatically make email address and all those, and like these questions I ask over and over, I can just make those automatically appear. That like saves that saves so much time. Remember, you can also move it to where you want it to be in your Google Drive here. You can start it to where you want it to be as well. If you want the pre-filled in link, you can get that here. I'm not gonna demo that now, but it's gonna like take you to a new form. You fill in the part you want pre-filled in, and then once you get the link here, that's what you would share with people. So that's what I meant by that. And autosave lasts for 30 days. So it will save as long as somebody goes back in for 30 days. Everything they do will already be there. So you don't have to spend your whole time filling out a Google form. You can come back to it. Your Google Calendar, there's so much to do. The main thing to me with Google Calendar to save time, make sure you duplicate events. If you're doing the same event over and over, no need to reinvent the wheel. Just duplicate it and change the day and change the time. Use your notifications, and like I said, with everything else, use that search bar that you see within the calendar. It will save you time. If you're doing a Google Meet, the breakout rooms, you can set those up ahead of time. That might save you time. So if you're in your Google Calendar here, what I'm referencing is use the search. Like search for things. Don't waste your time trying to figure out where was that? When was that? If you know who if you remember just one person that was at that event, like search for them, you'll find it. Also remember, like if your calendar looks too overwhelming, if all of these are checked, every single thing from these calendars will appear. So uncheck some of these calendars and also delete calendars you don't need. I mean, It saves time. Under your notifications and settings here, this is where you can decide too, like if you don't want to get an email notification every time somebody accepts a calendar invite, turn that off. Just go to your notifications, turn it off. You don't have to get that, and you don't, then that can reduce clutter within your email and other things. So just keep in mind that you have these settings here, and use them to like modify your calendar to be the way that you want it to look. The appointment slots depends on what type of Google upgrade you have. So for me, I have the free version, so I don't have appointment slots, but you might have that option here. I would recommend that you use it, especially if you're using like your teaching account. It might be found there. When I'm talking about duplicating events, so joy time. Okay, I'm gonna click save, and it's March. So here's Joy Time. I can click on this, and I can now click on, I can email it to somebody right away. I can edit it, or I can click on this three dot and duplicate. If I duplicate it, now I can put that, change the date. I can put a time on there. I can make it repeat. And then that's going to save me time instead of retyping the entire event. As you can see, it appeared on the 16th now. And I had less clicks. It's all about less clicks. All right, so perfect. So we've learned a lot today. We learned about Google Tasks, Google Forms, Google Calendar, Google Drive, Google Keep, Gmail. Did I miss anything? I may have, but we learned about a lot. So here's some of the game changers that I mentioned like earlier. Use docs.new to quickly get to any Google product. Like just put the product here and put .new and it'll open a new one. The Explore tool is a tool that's automatically within any Google product. It's a built-in search engine. It will search for you like on the web. It'll search for pictures for you, and it'll search within your Google Drive. Every Explore tool is different within the Google product, but it's super cool. Like in Google Sheets, it'll help you. If you use the Explorer tool, it'll give you like charts you can use, formulas you can use, and it's always in that bottom right hand corner. If you use it in Google Docs, it'll help you like cite sources and things like that. So always use the Explorer tool. Don't forget to bookmark things if you're in Chrome, especially. So if there's something that you always want to keep, you can just click on this star here, and it will go to your bookmarks, and you can quickly access it and not search all over the place for it. Same for a tab. If you want your calendar to always appear every time you open up Chrome, just pin it, and it'll always be there every time you open up Chrome. You won't have to search for it. You can unpin it as well. So that's something to keep in mind. And the version history saved me today in this presentation. Use your version history and don't like recreate, like be like, man, I lost this slide. I accidentally deleted it. I guess I have to recreate it. Before you recreate any slides or any stuff within Google product, use your version history, because you can go back in time, find that missing information, and put it back in. You could just copy literally this slide or restore the original version. So always use your version history if you're using any Google products. All right, well, I included my exit ticket. Please fill it out. I would love your feedback or any thoughts that you have. Check out some of these cool things that I've created outside of this presentation. I have my website, Blake Basics. I have a podcast I'm proud of with my husband, Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody. Check this out if you love the sound of my voice. I have a Teachers Pay Teachers store, and I have a Poshmark store. Thank you. I hope you feel a little less overwhelmed, and I hope you feel more productive than you already are. Have a great day, and thanks again.